Audience, welcome to Viewpoint from Overseas. I'm your host Faraz Darwish. First, we will discuss the Hurricane Harvey, which is currently impacting the people in Houston, and it's unfortunate and it's painful to see people in Houston suffering so much in this crisis. We hope and we pray for Houston. We'll discuss what is really happening in Houston, and then after that we'll go to our regular agenda, which is topic number one will be why is Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif of Pakistan is not in the country? Why has he left Pakistan? Is there any risk of his arrest? And then we will discuss US-Pakistan rift, which has been happening since the speech of President Trump. Is Pakistan really showing a cold shoulder to President Trump and his cabinet, or what is really happening? And then in the end, we'll discuss what is happening between India and China. Will there be any improvement in the relations? So I have with me Ms. Azam, and on the phone I have with me Samantar. So Samantar, tell me what have you been, you've been watching the news of Hurricane Harvey. What do you have to say on this?
Yeah, so fortunately for us, it is this Harvey did not do as much destruction as Katrina did back in 2005, which was like over 1,800 fatalities compared to still, 31 people died, but still much less than what we saw before. But we are seeing this year after year, all these hurricanes that develop in Atlantic Ocean, they come and they do a lot of destruction in the cities that are facing Gulf of Mexico. And it also shows to the world that even when the US is supposed to be a superpower when it comes to natural disasters like Harvey or Katrina, US also seems very helpless.
Right, Misbah.
Yeah, actually my younger sister, she lives in Katy, Texas, which is Houston actually, and their kids are there, and there's a huge rain and mess around. And I agree with Samantar that although it is not as strong as Katrina, but still there are like over 35 deaths over there recorded. Of course, the strong winds are very dangerous, very risky.
Right, and we should be taking the climate change seriously.
That's true.
So, our prayers to the people of Houston. I would like to move to the next topic. Why is Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif not in Pakistan? Samantar, what do you have to say to this?
Very easy, because his wife is ailing and she is in London, and he is there to be by his wife in London. Now you can have all kind of theories about how he's running away from the NAP proceedings and this and that, but he has a right to go, and be with his wife. So that's what I think what is happening.
Okay, Misbah.
Yeah, actually the thing is that going to jail is in his advantage actually. He would rather go to jail than to running away. Of course, last time when he had to go to Saudi Arabia, to this date that kind of stigma on his face that he ran away that time. So sure, he's not going to do like that. And so, of course, his wife is sick. Unfortunately, the media is putting it in a very negative way that they all lie about their...
Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were there. They didn't even believe that Nawaz Sharif's wife, forgetting her name, Kulsum Nawaz, that she's been diagnosed with cancer. They're saying this is probably a fabricated story, which is not true. They're trying to run away from the country because they want to escape the arrest. Blah blah blah. Sometimes it gets so frustrating that this is a unfortunate news. Begum Kulsum Nawaz, we pray for her. We pray for her speedy recovery. She is going through this miserable pain, and then people are bringing up all types of theories that he's trying to escape the arrest, she's not sick, this is all drama, blah blah blah. What do you say to all this drama?
Well, the thing is that I don't care what people say. The thing is that actually they always give an example that when during the time of their exile time, that he gave a application to apply for the visa, for the passport, and because of his son Hassan Nawaz supposedly be having some issues with they call it multiple sclerosis.
Yeah.
So they wanted to take him, and over the time it found out he did not have it, and they say that, see, they lied, although they didn't lie. I mean, of course, I mean, in Saudi Arabia some doctors said that oh, he may have it then, and that's how they wanted to go to the England.
So there's some history to it.
Yeah, so
What do you have to say to
the
this?
thing. But this is a very negative thing, and nowadays I see it's a tradition that whatever he says, people come and criticize him.
Samantha, what do you have to say to this?
Well, what I have to say is that during the time when the JIT was doing its investigation, Nawaz Sharif was there. And he faced the court. In fact, he went to the court. So, and compare that to the other case in which, Pervez Musharraf was being asked to come and appear in the court. So you can see the two different cases, how, what happened. And, I think that Nawaz Sharif did a much better job in handling the court. And right now the situation is that the NAB, the National, Anti-SOP Bureau, is continuing its proceedings and all that. So he is gone. If something
Samantha, tell me, what is the future of Nawaz Sharif?
What is the future of Nawaz Sharif? I think that it depends on how this NAB proceedings go. That was because what is to Nawaz Sharif's benefit is that if he is able to tell his people that this is all being plotted against him, then, and there are a lot of people who believe, in that, and they think that there are hidden hands behind all these things that are going on against him, then obviously he is in a much stronger position.
Right. Now, Samantha, tell me, there is also a conspiracy that there is a heavy rift among the family between Shahbaz Sharif's family and Nawaz Sharif family, where the kids are not in agreement. They are fighting and struggling to get the power of PMLN, which is Pakistan Muslim League, Nawaz Group. How do you say this? There's been a rumor which has been going around that Hamza Shahbaz and Maryam Nawaz Sharif have had several arguments where Maryam Nawaz Sharif has taken over the office of PMLN.
Yeah, I don't think we should really comment on rumors, but what we see is that Maryam Nawaz is still in Pakistan and she is representing the party, and that's what we see. If there is something going on in the party, obviously, that the people in the party, not only the big names, the Sharif brothers and their families, but other people are also there. They were.
Misbah, what do you have to say to this?
Well, this is all a smoke screen. The thing is that one after the other, and that's what I say, that it is not as black and white that Nawaz Sharif was corrupt and court found him guilty and kind of disqualified. There's something going on. Look at the hobnobbing of is Mr. Zardari with the establishment. Now all his cases are going away, and he's getting tough on Nawaz Sharif.
So what are you sensing?
No, I am sensing the same thing which I said before also, that it is something, it's not as black and white, that something is happening very easy. Oh, geez.
So you see a conspiracy?
Oh, I'm sure something is going on.
For example?
For
example, what do you see?
For 1.5 years, the case was going on in the court, right? 1.5 years. But why he was disqualified? Not because of the petition, because of the dictionary definition of assets. Okay, one thing. You will see. These things will come.
Who is pulling the strings?
No, I'm sure that it is people in the establishment, of course. I mean, he could not get along with that. The time Musharraf's case started, he was in trouble. I mean, and that.
Samantha, do you agree with this? Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I don't agree with this, but there are a lot of people who are saying similar things. Not quite the Musharraf case, but this Dawn leak thing. That when there was this pressure on Pakistan, international pressure, and then the civil and the military leadership met. This being leaked, that the civil leadership has asked the military leadership to stop patronage of these jihadi outfits. That was a big thing, and ever since then things have not normalized. This is what I'm quoting the people who are seeing some kind of conspiracy, a rift between Nawaz Sharif and the establishment, which is the nice way of saying Pakistan military. So this is what, but I don't quite agree with that, because I think that this country, that country, there's so many forces. You cannot just say that the Pakistan army is so powerful that it dictates everything in that state. I think there are many more power centers in that country than just one thing that you can call establishment.
Okay.
No, actually,
I want to move to the next topic.
Let's finish this. That it did not happen. The Dawn leak is a very contemporary case. It just happened year and a half ago. But this thing is going on.
It was part of the series.
Yeah, it was part of the series, one after the other, the other, and now you can see all these things, these news. You see it today. Yesterday, ARY News brought another issue that some Chinese special team came here to investigate the corruption cases against in the CPAC against Mr. CM. But later on it turned out it is not true. And nobody came out and so
what is happening? Change of topic. What is happening between US and Pakistan after President Trump's speech? Is Pakistan really not on board with US? Is Pakistan really not taking dictation anymore? What is happening, Misbah, starting with you?
Yeah, see this, first of all, today there is a parliament session on this issue, and they unanimously rejected whatever US says, whatever Mr. Trump says. But let us look at what is happening there. Okay, that thing is good in one sense for the short term, and this kind of resolution. Parliament. It is good, but it doesn't have a substance in that. Pakistan needs to do a little more than that.
For example,
they have to have Afghan policy, first of all. What they want to do in Afghanistan. Just sitting down and helping partly here, partly there, and start fighting wars against India. But let us go back a little bit. Let you and I, first of all, assume and understand that the speech was not written by anybody in the White House. It was written by the establishment, US establishment. And everybody says that thing. Second thing is that it is true that maybe the script does not have the tone which Mr. Trump used. But the way I see it, and this is not I'm quoting somebody or I am just talking to you about some other person's point of view. The way I see it, that the US establishment is wanted to give this impression to these people who are fighting that, okay, you rely on Pakistan, look at it. We are not with Pakistan, now come better talk to us. You have to come talk to us. Mueed Yusuf gave a very good suggestion. He says that this time is the best thing that Pakistan should stay out of everything and say, okay, we will sit back, you go talk, whomever you want, we will facilitate it for you. If you want to come to Pakistan, go talk. I'm not going to, we will just facilitate to the extent that where you guys come here and talk and then go. But we are not involved. And once it has happened, give us the result of what happens.
Okay.
So there is a very good chance that this is the increasing the rhetoric is one of the way of US establishment to tell these people to come and sit and talk, because just increasing 3,000-4,000 troops is not going to give you military advantage, whatever US already has it over there. Now, coming back to Pakistan, I do not believe that heating up the rhetoric, but unfortunately that in Pakistan most of these things are controlled by the establishment. Who makes the foreign policies? Not the diplomats, unfortunately. So this way, on a media, on everywhere, heating up the rhetoric, short term it's good maybe, but long term it's not going to work. You have to be with US, you have to have a very nice dialogue with United States, and that's how you should proceed, and then find the solution on that. And sure, I do agree with this resolution which came today, because the way Mr. Trump came on that.
So you're supporting that Pakistan should allow US to directly go negotiate with Afghan Taliban?
That's true. They should do that. They should do it and involve anybody they want.
Give them a free hand.
Give them the free hand.
Okay,
they want to talk to
yeah,
Haqqani network, go ahead, talk to Haqqani network. We are not stopping you for that.
Okay,
We will facilitate you to get there. That's
someone thought.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not that simple for us because there is something bigger that is there on the table. And the bigger thing is that the US, or Trump in his speech, accused Pakistan of supporting elements which are hurting the US forces in Afghanistan. Now, what can you do to, calm down US, their nerves about how would you show them, how would Pakistan show that to the US that it is not supporting those people which are going from within the borders of Pakistan and attacking either the Afghan government forces or in rare cases the US forces. That is a tough sell. I mean, how would that's a very tough thing to prove that you are not sponsoring them. So I don't think it is as simple as saying that okay, US can go ahead and start negotiating. What would happen is that we just saw the suicide attack in which 13 people were killed and claimed by Taliban. This thing would keep going on, and then all the time the blame would now be on Pakistan, and that it is because of Pakistan's support of these people that they have a safe haven in Pakistan, and that is why they have this opportunity to come and do these kind of things in Afghanistan.
Well, I would say never, okay, first of all, okay? I mean, it did not happen before, so you cannot say it will not happen again. Secondly, what are the choices then US? You just sitting down and blaming or start bombing Pakistan?
So one thing you have to keep in mind, China's role. China came back and basically denied what President Trump said and gave the statement in the favor of Pakistan. Where does China fit into this whole equation?
Well, China fits into that because see, there is, if we look at it, another angle on that. There is, and I partly believe it, if you read it about the history of World War I, how the World War I started, that it is what Germany was doing. Germany was increasing their naval power, and that's why it make Britain very nervous, Although the Wilhelm Kaiser was a nephew of Britain King, Edward VII, but still he declared the war against him, right? I mean, so these big powers have this problem that they kind of get nervous when this big, when some small powers start growing. Pakistan is very important for China. Pakistan is not just an economic thing for China. It is like creating a new west coast for China. That's what China is doing. So China's concern, you can see the first thing, next day China gave this statement. Because China has a concern that US with under the umbrella of chasing the Taliban, they may be coming chasing us actually, watching our activities inside Pakistan, the roads we are making and whatever we are doing. So, these kind of things are kind of always there. These both power, this Thucydides trap issue which Riaza also discussed and we talked about it. I don't want to go into that again. But the thing is that it is exactly the same thing. So, of course, China is nervous that just like the Spartans and Athenian war and Peloponnesian war, same thing happened that both start getting nervous. One is getting nervous because this power is growing next to it. Other one getting nervous because this big power will not let us go up. So, of course, this is another angle you can look at the situation, and that's where, and that's what I even wrote down in this point of view, that's where I see it, there is a nervousness you see among Chinese.
Samantha?
No, I think we have already discussed it.
Okay, so let me go and move to the last topic, rifts happening between China and India. Where do you see this going, or is it just temporary boil up and will it cool down? Samantar.
Yeah, so first of all, you must understand, Faraz, that this was not actually a rift between China and India. It was originally a rift between China and Bhutan, because this Doklam area is claimed by both Bhutan and China started building roads in that area. And since Bhutan is a client state of India, and Bhutan's foreign policy is made by India, it was a threat to India that China was doing such kind of development in that area, in the Doklam area, and the Indian troops, went in that area, and then later, the Chinese troops also came close. So but at the end, the good thing is that both of these are nuclear powers, so they obviously could not escalate into a war. That is just not practical. So, but I think what happened was that this weekend there is this BRICS summit in Beijing, and Beijing knew that if this standoff would continue, Modi might decide not to go to Beijing, so they negotiated and they said, we'll pull out, you pull out. So both troops, both Chinese and the Indian troops, they have pulled out of the Doklam area.
Misbah.
See, India's concern is to some extent legitimate there, because see, if you see the map, this is a tri-junction, area where it is very close to Siliguri corridor, Of course, India is nervous about it. However, this particular part is a little bit above that portion. So, of course, that is not as direct threat. But, of course, if you are a military general, you look at any kind of future threat on that, So, they have to come up with something, but China is determined that they will complete their road. For the time being, they stopped it and they say, okay, let's move away. And the negotiations were going on. They have a backdoor channel going on there. And now, for the time being, they just decided to just pull out. But there was no fire was shot over there. They were just throwing rocks on each other. That's all they were doing. That was the maximum hostility, if you will. But over the time, I think this thing will come back again, because China is determined to create a road over there. And see, the thing is that issues would be resolved, and but unfortunately, India was not willing to relinquish the excitement.
So this will keep coming back.
So it will keep coming
so
back.
I think we are done with the topic, Samantar. Thank you so much for joining. Misbah, thank you so much. Audience, I will be back next week with new topics. Keep watching Viewpoint from Overseas.